Hello, everyone. I'm delighted to be joined by Miriam Chapman-Rosenfeld today. Miriam graduated from Oxford with a degree in music, and then she went on to join the Met Police via Police Now's National Graduate Leadership Programme. Thanks so much, Miriam, for joining me. To start us off, please, can I ask how and why you chose to go into police work?
So I studied music at uni. It was very much not an office kind of role, out and about, talking to people, collaborating, big productions. And to be honest, I wanted to keep that element of communication, reaching out to others, giving people a voice, albeit in a different way. And so it all just fit into place and made complete sense. And I wanted something where I could give back to the community, make a real difference, and tackle some really interesting jobs and meet new people, and definitely not an office job. So that really, really appealed to me.
Okay, brilliant. So we find generally that police work isn't always something that our graduates, and not least music graduates, might think of as a sort of first option. Why do you think that is, Miriam?
I think that the media portrays policing in a very negative light, quite rightly. There's been a lot of key events that have happened: the murder of George Floyd, the murder of Sarah Everard. We've recently had the Baroness Casey review dip dive into our kind of culture in the Met and a national policing perspective, so I can understand that. But I guess my challenge would be, well, you want to make some change, so actually dive in and join the organisation and make that difference from the inside. But I can completely understand it. I think it's motivated me more to work harder, and I love tackling things like internal culture and trying to improve that.
Fabulous. It's really good to hear. Yeah, I think it's interesting, particularly maybe with students with a criminology or law background. But I guess there's the diversity and different skills that you need when you're actually in the police force, that actually probably discipline isn't, or degree discipline isn't necessarily such a key factor. Would you agree with that?
It's not a key factor, but I think having a degree and going into policing, you do bring different skills. I think you need that broad perspective. You need people with degrees, without degrees, lots of different backgrounds and life experiences, and I think that's really, really valuable. And something at the moment I think we need to prioritize more on is data analysis and really making sure we have that evidence base. So lots of different degrees really are in line with that and are so valuable to the police service.
Great stuff. Yeah. So looking at the indicators that policing could be a fulfilling career for people watching who might not have thought about it, and what would you say those were? They might not be sure if it's right for them. Um, what kind of things could they expect from police work?
I think if you enjoy every day being different, it's definitely for you. That variety has been amazing. Also, I think it's amazing to work as part of a large team and meet lots of new people. And I think as well, if you're someone that enjoys communicating and reaching out to different people and building connections and building trust with different groups, then it's definitely geared towards you.
Yeah, that's really interesting. That could be, again, anybody that feels like that could kind of be keen to join. That's got those skills. It goes beyond kind of the academics, really. So in terms of your experience with the Police Now scheme, what impact do you feel you had in your role during your time with the Police Now scheme?
So Police Now is brilliant in terms of gearing you towards setting up projects and being proactive and setting up operations. So for me personally, I focused on catalytic converter thefts, which was amazing. It was a large operation in the Met, outside of London as well, to county forces. And we got a brilliant result out of it. And Police Now very much provided that support and that guidance of how to do that. But I think what's great is that Police Now will support you in tackling whatever problem you want to tackle. I chose that, but people choose such a wide array of different crime types. So you can really have agency over what you want to do and what interests you personally.
Excellent. And so talking a bit more about that, what's been the most surprising or indeed rewarding thing about your work to date?
I think the most surprising thing has been how valuable it is to be yourself. And I think that kind of sounds like quite an obvious thing. I think I went into it probably a bit nervous, interacting with lots of members of the public and really wanting to deliver kind of a good service. But ultimately, you reach out to people by being authentic, by being yourself, and by leading by the skills that you have and the life experiences you have and the degrees and knowledge that you've kind of acquired. I think rewarding has definitely been tackling kind of negative aspects of internal culture and making people feel more supported. So, for example, I've set up a career development program for female probationers. We're trialing it at the moment. And I think that, for example, is really important to make sure that we're improving our retention rates of female officers and making sure that we increase our cultural awareness and grow as an organisation. So that's been really rewarding for me.
That's fantastic work, a great initiative. So yes, to talk a little bit more about your career journey, you touched on it there. Could you just sort of give us a little bit more about your career journey to date, where you are right now?
So, in a nutshell, I started on Safer Neighbourhoods, which is the role you go into if you go on the Police Now Graduate Leadership Programme. So you're tackling ASB and crime in some of the most deprived communities across the country. So I started off there. Then I branched off into the proactive operation, the catalytic converter theft operation. And because of the kind of success of that and the scope of that, I was offered an opportunity to tackle violence against women and girls following the murder of Sarah Everard, which was incredibly important to me and meant something to me personally. So a lot of that was about looking at data, kind of microaggressions in different areas, utilising that data and thinking about how we can improve our infrastructure and how we work with our key partners to make women feel safer, particularly in outdoor spaces and nightlife. So I did that project. And then following that, I applied for the fast track promotion scheme, which is a national scheme, and thankfully was successful. So now I'm a sergeant on a response team in Croydon, which is so busy. We deal with it a lot day to day, but it's fantastic. I love my team so much. And then recently in the summer, I had a chance to act up as an inspector at the Police Now Academy. So I was back right where I started again, which was really, really exciting and nice to see the other side of the training academy and how it's changed over time. But yeah, I've thankfully been able to do a lot of different roles, which has been really, really fun.
That's really fantastic. And I'm really glad that you've got such a supportive team. I think that's such a key part of working life, and it's lovely to hear that. And so I was just, you just sort of said it's really kind of diverse and changeable. But in terms of your role now, what does a normal day or week tend to look like for you? I thought we'd move on to that because it's quite close to what you just described.
So a normal day, it's hard to describe a normal day because what is normal? But it depends what role I'm doing. So if I'm sorting out the resourcing on a team and meeting calls, I'll look at all the different calls that are coming in on a long list. I'll look at the risk for each ones. They grade them. So you have your I grades that you have to go to immediately within 15 minutes. S grades, which you go to within an hour. So essentially, you're balancing all of your resources and distributing the different units out accordingly to meet those call times and make sure that you're safeguarding the public. I'll also be doing paperwork if I'm doing a different role. So I'll be supervising crime reports, case files, looking at whether outstanding suspects are being managed. So a lot of that is around risk management. And then sometimes I'm out and about. So I'm out on the street with other officers, which is really good fun. So you do get that variety as well. And it's nice that every week, even though I'm a sergeant, I'm still doing lots of different things and I can still go out and take calls and interact with the public.
That's great, kind of being able to be on that front line. No doubt it's partly what attracted to it in the first place. So it would be a shame to lose it. Yeah. So to jump about a bit, we're going to next talk about whether you had a clear idea about what you wanted to do when you were at university, and then did that change over time for you?
So policing was not something I thought I was going to do when I was at university. I think I was mainly just focusing on getting through my degree.
Mm.
You know, a degree is really, really hard. It's very taxing. And actually, after university, I took a year out to decide what I wanted to do. But I think when I listed down all of my priorities, which was not an office job, out and about talking to people, collaboration, all these key things that fits in so well with policing, it all just made sense and fit into place. And
Yeah.
I very much see this as my career. It is a lifestyle and a job, which I love as well. You can really throw yourself into it. And I think that's similar with music. That is a way of life. It's it's everything that you do. And I love having that aspect as well with my job.
So talking, Miriam, about starting work, how did your employer help you feel welcome and supported?
So my line manager was brilliant. One of my favourite line managers, actually. He sat me down for a one-to-one, asked what my priorities were, what crime types I wanted to tackle, and really got to know me personally, which was brilliant. As did the inspector. So I really felt like I was included on the team. Management were really supportive. Also, you have an interview at the start with usually a superintendent or a member of the senior leadership team to introduce yourself. And that's a great opportunity. Well, it was for me to talk about what I was interested in and find out what the borough priorities were and see what I could align myself with. But I think through Police Now, it has its own support. It's a brilliant network, impact events. You have your team that you trained with, you have your sergeants and the Police Now team and those. So it was just brilliant, and you get that diversity of support in the police service as well as Police Now.
That's really fantastic to hear, because I think perhaps people that, obviously you were very, very connected to police work from the start, but maybe if somebody's in two minds, knowing that there's going to be that support and that kind of not thrown in at the deep end, I'm sure will be reassuring to hear.
I think as well, sorry, as well with support, I think you do get a lot of interaction on one-to-ones, definitely. But my advice would be kind of lead by what interests you, and you will attract that support and connect with like-minded people. So I don't shy away from saying I'm really interested in doing this, because actually that enthusiasm and motivation is really valuable, and you'll find a lot of people come forward and want to work with you.
Fab. So, final question for you, Miriam. What would you like to do next in your career?
So I definitely want to do work around diversity and inclusion. There's lots of project works and teams dedicated towards that, and it really fits in with some of the project work I'm doing already around supporting women in the organisation. As well, I would love to spend more time on response team. It's very much the pinnacle of frontline policing. You are saving members of the public at times when they really, really need you, and I think that's so important. But as well, I'm open-minded. I'd love to try lots of different things, and I think what's great as part of the Fast Tracks team is I'm supported in doing lots of different things. And next year, hopefully, I can diversify a bit more and try different things. And who knows, maybe even go back to neighbourhoods where I started, which would be really good fun.
Okay, brilliant. So thank you very much, Miriam, for your time today and for your really, really insightful answers and your thoughtfulness. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Thank you so much.